That man and his manga.
Look at this manga. Look at it. What a collection. Okay, some of these are light novels, but just look at this collection of titles I'll read over and over and over again. He lies naturally as he breathes. Manga collecting has been my favourite pastime for the last 16 years. But honestly, it's really been the last few years where I've really delved into this passion. There's nothing quite like holding a manga series in your very hands. Oh yeah, digital exists too. I mean, how else will I represent my favourite series and show how much I absolutely love these titles?
I have no idea.
Manga. That's how. We know that manga is absolute serious business.
I mean, have you seen the price of Gans?
I mean, how else can I show girls I have the entire collection of Dual Metal with my daughter? Manga gives you that satisfying feeling of slowly increasing your collection until it completely takes over your life and drowns you in books to be read. Fortunately, manga is often short and pretty sweet, and often can be read within a few hours. I mean, sure, if we are looking at the amount of time taken up by manga, I'm sure there are cheaper ways to pass the time. But why are you looking at me for financial advice? I own Creature Girls. I feel it's the mentality of, I love this, so I want to adorn my shelf with it. And soon enough, you're paying good money for volume 15 of a series that only had 3 volumes when you started reading it. Now, not all collections are going to be huge. A common misconception is that you require a wall of books just to be the best at collecting manga.
Are you winning, son?
Collecting is best done at your own pace, and there really is truly no wrong way to do it. A manga collection can be 2 volumes or, oh dear god, what have I gotten into? But the fact remains that most, if not all of these titles likely means something to you. It could be a series that you love and just want to own physically. Or it could be a drunken buy to fill that void in your life that you've already attempted to fill with Pokemon cards and family. Either way, a collection shows that you are happy enough to put your money towards something and can happily say, I own this. I'm proud of it.
I own this and I'm proud to own it.
The thing about collecting is that it never really ends. Ever. There are more new manga released all the time, and despite best efforts, you'll probably end up wanting to buy more and more and more.
I was just going to get into manga casually, but then I realised I can own all of Monster Musume.
And then there are so many subsets and genres to collect. You could collect only shonen, or maybe you're a seinen fan. Perhaps you want to collect yen press titles. One day you could be on a quest to become the Pirate King, the next, oh dear god, what have I done? Of course, collecting is the best thing to do with manga. Reading them comes at a solid 4th. You can delve into so many worlds and themes that you may never have thought possible. Want to pretend you're good at sports? Manga. Want to go camping? Manga. Want to pretend you have a spider waifu? Manga. And it's always so satisfying to look on a shelf and see a completed series. This series has history. Probably. Maybe someday I'll actually get to reading it. Seriously, what I love about collecting is being able to share my experiences with you guys. It always brings a smile to my face when someone states they've read a series that I've recommended to them, and knowing that I've made someone pay money for plus-sized elf, it's a real power move. Personally, when I look at my collection, I don't really mind if a series isn't doing amazing in sales. If it's a series I really enjoy, I'm probably going to collect it over something that general public love, but I'm personally not keen on. I can name so many games that sold incredibly poorly over the years, while terrible games have sold well. This isn't to say if a series is popular it's bad, but not in your life. There's a reason they are popular. But come on, My Hero Academia doesn't have monster girls doing exercises. It can't even compete. But that's what gives me the joy of seeing other people's collections. I can look at them and nod in approval at what they've got, even if it's a series I don't particularly enjoy. It's nice to see other people getting some love out of those series. I think that collecting titles I have a personal affinity for, rather than just anything and everything, has genuinely kept me more interested in collecting manga. I don't feel like I'm obliged to enjoy a series because of its prestige and because other people enjoy it. Likewise, I don't feel like I need to go out of my way to enjoy a series that I've paid a lot of money for. I honestly feel like I'm at a point where I love my collection for what it is, and removing volumes from the collection itself would be a pretty painful task. Granted, there's a few volumes here and there of series I took the plunge on and just didn't enjoy, but I think that's the same with everyone. Of course, there's a lot of titles I would love to own physically, and if I had the space, I would probably take the restraints off and buy nearly everything I can. But realistically, I can only own so many titles before it starts becoming an issue. These shelves are so close to breaking point, but I still pile them on anyway.
This is what we call living on the edge.
And then there's light novels. Can you see why I'm a hit with the ladies? A lot of titles work so much better in novel format, and if I'm truly honest, I prefer reading a novel physically more than a manga physically. Not to say that I won't buy light novels digitally. I own a ton of those too. I just gravitate more towards the physical side of things. Honestly, the Shonen Jump app really put a nail in the coffin for collecting some manga for me. A lot of these series are anywhere upwards from 20 volumes to some nearing 100. I just can't justify that space for them anymore. The app means that I don't have to work about buying these physically and can just read all of them on one space. Sure, the odd standout title I'll happily pick up, but I'm just so lukewarm on some of these series. Would I enjoy My Hero Academia more if I was buying the volumes physically and had that commitment? I don't know. Some series like Black Clover, Promised Neverland and Kimetsu no Yaiba I really enjoyed, but I don't think I'd ever be in a position where I'd really want to read them again. On the flip side, titles such as Yotsuba and Umaru-chan and Delicious in Dungeon I've read a few times already, cementing themselves in a place in my collection. People often ask me how to start collecting manga, and honestly, I just say go with your gut.
Hey gut, what shall I buy next?
Urusei Yatsura!
Ah, you know me so well.
If a series looks appealing to you, then by all means, go check it out. You may just find something off that beaten path. I don't really plan out my collection and just often go, oh shit man, anime titties, take my money. I feel like your first manga is something sacred. I know I remember my first manga. But do I know my 40th or 50th manga that I bought? No.
Oh shit, a young gangster.
And that's what I love about collecting manga. I don't feel like this is anyone else's collection at all. It's something unique to me. It honestly just makes me happy even looking at it. And as time goes on, you may find yourself collecting other titles that you may not have appreciated at first. I know when I was younger, the concept of moe, cute girls doing cute things, would bore me to death. The idea of a relaxing series about people relaxing sounds heavenly right now. This goes for other series too. When I was younger, I was all about the likes of Naruto, Bleach, and Death Note. But honestly, I went out and sold those titles at a later date, and quite frankly, I don't know if I'd bother investing time in them ever again. I never thought I'd be buying a series about monster girl brothels, but hey, look at me now. This is why I appreciate the likes of Kimetsu no Yaiba and My Hero Academia doing so well. These are great gateway titles to get more people into the spirit of reading and collecting manga. And to see them doing so well means we'll have a vast amount of new collectors in the future. All ready and waiting for me to come up to them and be all like,
hey, you. Yes, you. Want to buy some plus-size elf?
I often look at other people's hauls for their collections and just silently screaming in my mind, when will you have time to read all of this? And then I wonder if people just buy stuff just to put up the numbers. I can admit, I have done that.
Of course, that's taking financial advice from a person who has spent hundreds of thousands on toys that don't do anything at all. Except for that one time we had a Toy Story situation.
Of course, collecting can easily turn into an addiction, and I feel like if you are buying for the sake of buying, or things just stop being enjoyable for you, then it's time to back out. Personally, for myself, I feel like I'll keep collecting until either I run out of room or just lose interest. I have previously gotten to the point where I felt so overwhelmed by my to-read list that I've actually not read a single thing for months on end. My first collection was gutted as I was buying so many series and just not reading them. Most of these were actually Shonen Jump titles, including Hunter x Hunter, Eyeshield 21, Reborn, Strawberry 100%, Naruto, Bleach. One month I just decided I would just not buy them, and I felt that I was in a hole that I just couldn't get out of.
You really don't want to know what's in that hole. Late game Bleach is in that hole.
I then took some years away from manga and anime before coming back with titles such as Watamote, Golden Kamui, Prison School and Umaru-chan to lure me back in. Manga felt fresh again and there were so many new titles along with plenty of titles that I had missed that was exciting to collect again. Honestly, collecting manga has been such a fun hobby overall and one I'm glad to still be in. I've met so many fantastic people on the back of it and experienced so many series that I may have skipped over. I mean, can you think of a life without Prison School? But because manga takes up so much space, I feel I have the right to pick and choose what I want to display and what I want to own. Otherwise relegating the series to digital only. Digital is fine and honestly I enjoy reading on a tablet pretty much, but there are still gaps. For some reason some publishers just don't have their entire catalogue on a digital platform, meaning that if I want to read it, I gotta buy it physically. It's sadly off-putting that I will probably never read the likes of Gantz because of this. At least with digital it means I can safely read titles I wouldn't bother buying physically and discovering even more that I wouldn't even consider otherwise. I probably wouldn't have even bothered with the likes of Space Brothers or Dungeon Busters without the digital option. So I'm thankful that I can at least have these in my life in a convenient way.
I mean, look how nice it goes on the shelf.
Of course, with digital, it also means that a lot of titles that may go out of print are still easily accessible via digital storefronts. This means that some titles that may command hundreds can be bought rather cheaply. So if you only want to read a title, then a digital collection can be a cheap alternative. Of course, all of the really popular titles never go out of print and can be found for years to come. Unless you're Dark Horse, who may as well be Satan themselves.